each other. He's a friend from work.
Oh, come on.
All right, let's make the whole show just watching this over and over and over again.
Folks, welcome to Cordkillers. Our mission is to report the intel from the front lines of the cord-cutting revolution so that you have the information you need to be able to watch what you want, when you want, where you want, on whatever device you want. I'm Tom Merritt.
Hey, man, I'm Brian Brushwood, and more importantly, that was the Hulk and Thor in the trailer that dropped this morning and made my day. Man, there's something about Thor Ragnarok. I still don't know what it's about. I know that it looks like Asgardians of the Galaxy, if you ask me. I mean, it's like they're definitely taking a page from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Asgardian gladiators of the galaxy meet Jeff Goldblum in funny costumes. And yeah, for some reason, none of that bothers me. It looks great. I just want to watch it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Like, when I was a teenager and I was most into reading Marvel comics, what was great were the graphic novels where they would just for one episode just do the craziest mashups. There's one where the Hulk and the Thing get kidnapped to go. I don't know, save some princess or whatever. And then at the end, they're told that they each get one wish, anything they want. And the Thing is in the middle of this existential crisis of like, oh, do I want to be human again? Do I want to do whatever? And the Hulk goes, we want food and we want to go home. And so then the last panel is just the Hulk sitting on a mountain of hamburgers in the Arizona desert. And then it's just like, son of a gun. Like, I love the fact that we know these characters enough in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we can have these wild ass side jags, you know?
Right. They've done enough movies that they can now do the things that the comics could do when they had done enough comics, right?
Exactly.
I love that idea of like, I think of like big, strong guys I know, like if Patrick Norton was the guy who came out of the other side of the arena, if I was captured and made to fight, I'd be like, oh, cool. It's my buddy Patrick Norton. This is great. You know, like I totally get what his reaction was. Like, oh no, we know each other from work.
Well, and plus also like the trailer I mean, I should be annoyed by the trailer because it very clearly sketches out a 3-act architecture for the entire show. But just that brief moment of that childlike wonder that we see from Thor from time to time, where he's just like, and the phrase, he's my friend from work. It's such an odd phrasing. It looks so much fun, man. All of this stuff looks fantastic. I can't wait. Disney continues to just slay it with the MCU.
Well, folks, to be able to watch these sorts of things, you got to know your options. That's why we're here. So let's start with the primary target. So one of the ways you can have more competition and more control is to have more competitors. And we've got another one in the arena for being able to watch television just with your internet connection, not needing any other cables in your house. YouTube TV launched in San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and Philadelphia, kind of following the model that a lot of companies, when they have local channels involved, have to follow, which is a limited rollout. Service packages in more than 40 channels, kind of varies depending on the market, but includes all the major broadcast networks, includes the CW sort of. It doesn't have the live feed of CW, but it gives you access to the CW shows on demand. It has Sci-Fi, Disney, ESPN. The YouTube Red shows are available on demand as well. You can also add on Showtime and Fox Soccer Plus for $11 and $15 respectively. The app is pretty simple. 3 tabs: live, self-explanatory; home, which is recommendations of, hey, this stuff is available or it's on right now. And library is things that you've bookmarked or recorded to your unlimited DVR. Unlimited DVR is pretty cool. Problem with unlimited DVR is that it will force users to watch the on-demand version of shows when available, not their recorded version. And you can't skip ads in the on-demand version. Bottom line, first month is free. Costs you $35 a month after that. If you pay for that first month, they'll give you a Chromecast for free. You can go check it out, tv.youtube.com, or download the app for iOS and Android. And that's the other thing, Brian, is this is just for mobile or the web and then Chromecasting it. You don't have it on Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, any of those.
I would say that's probably a very smart way for them to go about all of this. It looks like they're taking a page out of the Apple playbook, which is don't try to do everything you can do. Figure out what you could do extremely well and do only those things. And then later add, the other things that you always could have done, but add them and act as though you're the second coming of God or whatever.
And what's always interesting in these things is, first of all, the little idiosyncrasies of the negotiation, like that DVR thing. You know that YouTube said, we just want to be able to say you can have everything recorded all the time without limits. And so they had to agree that they would only give the on-demand versions as a way to get the networks to agree. Everybody's doing horse trading in the back scenes. The other thing is the little innovations that they bring. And one of the things I love about YouTube TV, and this is why I was so sad that it didn't launch in Austin so that you could try it, is they basically replicate channel flipping. It doesn't have audio, but as you scroll through the guide, even if you have something playing up at the top, as you scroll through the guide, it shows you the video that is live on that channel at the time as you flip around.
That is wonderful. Oh my goodness. No, I think you just made an instant fan out of me. Real quick, you mentioned one thing that had appeared to have careful phrasing. Right now, by the way, we're looking at, well, here, go ahead, scroll through some channels.
I don't know if you can really
Let's
see
violate some content ID. You have a menu open. There you go.
But yeah, see, it starts to show a little video, and then you can go to the next one, and it will give you the still, and then it changes to the video, and you just keep flipping through the different things they're on.
So yeah. I did hear a bit of careful phrasing in that you have access to the YouTube Red shows, but it doesn't sound like YouTube Red is included with this. So you will not get an ad-free experience.
That is a matter of semantics. You get YouTube Red shows. You don't get the YouTube Red service. And that is A, confusing, B, a missed opportunity, right? Like, give me the ad-free Google Music experience as part of this. I think that would make sense.
I'll tell you what, man, I have zero interest in signing up for YouTube Red, but I would do it in a heartbeat if it all of a sudden was my solution for cable experiences.
I also think it's stupid that they don't have a YouTube Red channel. I was kind of disappointed with that. I wanted to flip to the YouTube Red channel and just see what was on and get sucked into something. Instead, I have to go to the YouTube Red place on home and pick one of their shows, and I'm much less likely to do that.
I'll tell you what, man, I'm really surprised. This was an interesting week because I made it back from being on the road. I had a little more time, and I really was focused on taking care of emails, and I was astonished to discover that while I was doing emails, I really wanted there to be something that I slightly cared about on in the background. And now normally, up until like, let's say this week, most of the time when you and I have talked, you know, I'm a very all-in person when it comes to my media. I want it to be so good that it's electric and that's all I want to watch and focus on. But doing tedious work on the computer, on the plus side, I am now for the first time since January 2016 down below 2,000 important and unread emails, working my way back. But on the flip side, I find that I crave something that I only half care about to be on in the background, and so I found myself just going through the back catalog of Red Letter Media's movie reviews. As a matter of fact, I should add that to what we're watching. They did a April Fool's prank video where they reviewed on their review program. They did Horse Ninja, which a totally fictitious made-for-TV movie that was never aired, but yet strangely all three panelists deeply loved the bootleg that all three of them grew up with and that we saw brief clips of. It was amazing. But I'm finding myself preferring that for that ephemera. Preferring the YouTube environment, but looking for long-form stuff because I'm now to the point where I dislike the moment when the video's over and I feel like I have to make a decision. Like I just want it. I'm at the point where I just want that waterfall television where it's just constantly going.
There is a time, and when we had a hard time being able to choose, I think we longed for being able to just choose all the time. Whatever I want to watch right now, I want to be able to watch that. We have almost got that. We really do have that with caveat of, well, you have to pay for the right services and have the right gear, whatever. But now it's become a thing of like, well, I don't always want to have to make that decision, right? And I think Leanback is going to be the next wave. And Pluto TV is trying to do that. There's a few other folks that are trying to do that. And whoever really gets people's attention at the time when everybody else starts to realize this same problem is going to be a big winner.
I got to tell you, and this is going to be astonishing to anyone who has heard me, crow about the importance of privacy and so on. I am at the point right now where I would love a computer program that not only pays attention to everything I watch, but pays attention to me while I'm watching, tracking eye movements and all that stuff, and basically figures out, okay, Brian says he wants to listen to Last Week Tonight, on HBO, but he spends 50% of the time looking away during that. He spends 90% of the time totally focused on a Red Letter Media review. So it's like, I know there's what he says he wants, and then there's what he really
Brian
wants.
wants people to think he wants to watch PBS NewsHour.
Correct.
But he really just wants to watch Red Letter Media.
Well, exactly, and that's fine. But it's like, I'm at the point where it's like, I don't even want control. I want somebody who knows better even than me how much I'm going to like stuff, because I don't even mind the idea, and this is insane. I feel insane saying these words, Tom. I don't even mind the idea that an all-knowing AI not only watches me, but finds demographically identical people like me who like the same things that I like, and notices like, well, this week's Last Week Tonight is particularly good. We know from the 75 other Brians that I track that they are more engaged than usual. I strongly suspect, looking at his social media, this agrees with his political stuff. I want to, I can't believe I'm saying these things, but I'm at a point where it's like, I value my time so much that I don't want to engage. I don't want to engage. I want to be a baby that gets fed blended baby food of television for all times.
Yeah. I know what you mean, which is, it sounds stupid, but at a certain point, there is that diminishing returns of, okay, when we didn't have any other choice, then we did this. But now that we do, I'm trying to shave off a few more friction points. I'm trying to shave off a few more things that get in my way. And that's one of those things that gets in your way. And you just want it to tell you what to watch sometime. I mean, short of that, the Leanback experience that you're talking about is Sling TV, PlayStation View, because you just turn on a channel. You still have to decide between the channels, I guess. But
even then, like, I just don't trust the channels enough. I don't know.
Okay, here, let's take a look. So I can flip through, and I just love this. I love this ability to just be like, oh, okay, that's what they're talking about. Breaking news there. Okay, there's a commercial there. Okay, they're actually talking about this story here.
For the audio listeners, we are seeing basically a Tumblr style layout, and you're just scrolling down, and as you mouse over individual images,
YouTube TV, right.
it suddenly snaps to a live preview of what is happening on that channel. That's wonderful.
If I go to home, then it's like, oh, here's some shows you could record. Here's what's popular right now. This is something you were watching before. By the way, we were using YouTube TV, and it streamed great. No problem. Right from the get-go. And Django's Last Vet was hosting this pet talk show on National Geographic. So
that's crazy.
That was crazy. Yeah, that's her right there in the middle. Then there's the things you can record with your unlimited DVR and movies that it recommends for you. But I have to go way down here to find YouTube Red Originals, and it has YouTube shows. So it could do, I guess where I'm going with this is it has the pieces, right? It could do what you want by saying, hey, we have access to all these shows, and we're building a profile of what Brian likes. So let's have a channel that's the Brian channel and just pulls from all these different sources.
Yeah, you know what? And you're right. The only downside is, of course, and this is a minor thing that I don't think applies to a lot of people, but I've got like 7 different YouTube accounts, and I'm constantly logged in various iterations of them because, I'm busy setting up, right now I'm answering comments for Scam School. Now it's the Modern Rogue. Now it's scam stuff and so on. But outside of that, like if it just knew how much of everything I watched and just served it up, holy cow, would I love that. That would be great.
Yeah. Well, folks, the reason we do this is so that you have the information you need to be able to have control over your viewing. And we couldn't do it without the fine patrons who give a little value back for the value they get from this show at patreon.com/Cordkillers.
Heck yeah, man. We do, it's fine to say we do it for you, but we also do it for us, specifically for the money that you give us. We really appreciate it. It allows us to keep us on the regular, and you guys have, we've said it a million times before. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are transforming our lives. I know that 1,700 plus of you guys right now are people who are paying month by month, and you never notice it on your bill, but to us, it is the world. It makes so much difference.
Patreon.com/Cordkillers. Let's talk about how to watch. So Thursday Night Football went back up for sale for the online rights. This is what Twitter had last season, 10 games, some on NBC, some on CBS, but all simulcast online. And Amazon got the rights. They spent $50 million, so 5 times what Twitter spent last year. Amazon will stream the same content as broadcast over the air, including the ads from CBS and NBC, although Amazon will get a small group of ad slots to sell themselves, which is typical. Cable companies get the same thing on channels. So in a sense, Amazon will be working as a cable company delivering a channel called Thursday Night Football.
So what is this jockeying for position they're doing? Is this branding that they're doing? What, because they're clearly not going to make $50 million back from this purchase if they're just, if they're spending most of their time broadcasting somebody else's ads.
Amazon's play is we make so much money on Amazon Prime that we can afford $50 million to drop in the bucket in something that will retain a few people and keep them happy with Amazon Prime, make them think of Amazon better, order more things from Amazon. So that's what they do. They throw this stuff in Amazon Prime, and that's what Thursday Night Football will be. You will have to be an Amazon Prime member and get that 2-day free shipping in order to watch this. But they will also then be able to promote the Amazon Originals, which also keep you in the ecosystem. And I assume they might have some in-house ads for Amazon products. I have no idea. But yeah, it's an entirely different approach than Twitter's.
Yeah. So on top of that, put on your speculation hat and do your best to explain to me why they're doing this branded as Amazon and not under Twitch TV, which seems like, by the way, that's a fantastic hat.
Thank you.
Your speculation hat. Why Amazon and not Twitch, considering that it's the same company and they could have easily branded it under Twitch?
That's a really good question. Why not? Okay, well, for one thing, it's a little bit wonky to say you have to be an Amazon Prime member, but this is also on Twitch, right? So the question becomes, why want to use this to promote Prime instead of using it to promote Twitch? My guess is the return is better, that they're basically looking at the bottom line and saying, we'll get more people in Amazon Prime than we would get in Twitch. Because think about your average football viewer might watch Twitch. In fact, lots of them do. But more of them are Amazon Prime subscribers. And so to me, it might just be down to numbers of like, we will make more people happy doing it this way.
Yeah. Okay. So from a branding perspective, I'm going to say that it's insane. Twitch's entire brand is live video. Yes, it's video games, but it's also talk shows and
they're
call-in
totally
shows and
expanding it all
everything.
the time, right?
Like Twitch equals live, and this is a live video thing, so you would think it should go on Twitch. Amazon Prime means archived videos and originals. This is neither an archived video nor an original, so it seems very, very off-brand. But I think you're exactly right. If their true goal is not to grow the actual use of watching NFL on Amazon-owned networks, but instead their goal is just to remind people of the value they get from their Prime subscription, then yeah, it does make sense. Even though it's very, very off-brand to make it on Amazon rather than Twitch, that makes sense.
Now, a lot of people have looked at this and very reasonably said, ouch, Twitter, you're trying to build a bunch of live video yourself over there and you get way outbid by Amazon on this. But Twitter told the Daily Telegraph that it wants deals with pay TV companies that'll let you, a subscriber, and yeah, this means Comcast and Spectrum and all that, but it also means Sling TV, PlayStation View, and YouTube TV potentially. But all they say is, look, whatever your pay TV service is, we want to deal with them where you can authenticate on Twitter to watch live channels with authentication. And that could work both ways. You could actually hook your Twitter ID up to your pay TV subscription and be able to log in with Twitter. Basically link that subscription. Twitter COO Anthony Noto told The Telegraph, bringing the video forward onto Twitter itself allows us to give the consumer on one screen the things they're talking about, the timeline of the best tweets on Twitter at the moment in time, and we would love to have the Premier League. We would love to have live games. We'll continue to find creative ways to get there. Of course, he's talking to an English paper, so he's going to use the Premier League, but in the U.S., it would be the NFL, MLB, something like that. And I think this is smarter. I think Twitter said, look, we've spent $10 million to put Thursday Night Football so we could learn, so we could look at how people behaved and learn. And now we think we have it. And what we should give them is all of their TV, and we don't pay for it. We just help the pay TV companies with their subscriber satisfaction and a little bit of data mining.
Have we finally hit that long-heralded prediction that we've been bandying around on the show? The idea of a virtual a fig leaf cable network, where it's like you're buying a cable network in name only, even though there's no cable or whatever. You're just buying like whatever. Here's money going to somebody who's going to disperse it somehow, and I know that I'm going to be able to get a login to log into all the services online.
Well, and that's what's so intriguing about this. If Twitter can pull this off. It goes from, well, I mean, I have a PlayStation View account. Why would I go log into 50 other apps? Let me just log into the PlayStation View app, right? To like, oh, but I could log into Twitter and just get the same service with an entirely different experience because I have tweets going on, et cetera, et cetera. And especially if I'm a traditional cable company, I could log into their service with Twitter, and that makes things a little simpler there.
Yeah,
in other words, when I go to all these other apps, I could be like, oh, just log in with my Twitter account because it's linked to my cable account.
Sure. Well, back to Amazon. This is a I'm not even going to say a terribly quirky play. It's a surprise, slightly a bemusing play, but not an outrageous one. I think it's in brand, and certainly I think you hit the nail on the head where it's like it really is. $50 million is a drop in the bucket for what they're pulling in on all of Amazon Prime, and right now they're in that P.T. Barnum phase. Sorry, I blanked on the name of P.T. Barnum, one of the greatest showmen ever. The P.T. Barnum phase where they're more interested in making a spectacle to keep people happy in the environment that they already are.
Yeah. All right, let's move on and talk about what to watch in Under Surveillance.
It's all about location. Under surveillance.
So one of the things I complained about BritBox was they didn't have Doctor Who. Well, now they do. Episodes of classic Doctor Who, the first 26 seasons, not the one that came back in 2005, but classic Doctor Who episodes will be curated on BritBox. They'll have all of them. They're even talking about getting audio versions of the lost episodes of those early years. They'll be grouping them together. I think you'll be able to see them season by season as well, but they're also going to make fun playlists like here's all the Dalek episodes, here's all the Cybermen episodes. Amazon still has the exclusive on the new Doctor Who series, so they won't get that quite yet.
So, you know what? It's such a gimmicky thing to sort it by villain, but I totally would do this. And Doctor Who is in, we were just talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and what was possible because you were familiar with all the characters in the comic books. Doctor Who has that big and expansive a world to draw from. So it does make sense where it's like, look, we understand, like Marvel's like, look, we understand you're not going to read all of the Marvel comics. Here's all the Venom episodes of Spider-Man. Here's all the, the Skrull episodes with the Fantastic Four or whatever. This is a brilliant thing, and I think it's going to play really, really well. And it's, to be honest, the first thing that's made this service interesting to me.
Yeah, kind of the same for me. I went through this phase where I did this. I had to do this the old-fashioned way, Brian. I had to go on to Netflix, find the individual discs that had the Dalek episodes, and put them in my Netflix DVD queue so that I could have them mailed to me and watch all the Dalek episodes. But I did that back when Doctor Who first came back to TV because I was like, oh, I want to see the first Dalek episode and some of these other important ones from like the Tom Baker area. And this is amazing. Like kids today, they can just click a button. Netflix added 8 more episodes of reality TV series Terrace House Aloha State. Bryce, are you excited?
I've already watched 2 of the new 8 episodes.
Is it good?
It's good. It's good. It's a weird pace. Okay, real quick, 1 minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
The previous series, Boys and Girls in the City, was very slow or they didn't change out people very fast.
Right.
At the very beginning. And then at the end, it was changing up people a lot. This second part, I'm only like 2 episodes in, and there have been a lot of people moving in and out. So it's a weird thing, but I love Terrace House. I'm very excited.
And to be clear, Terrace House is all in Japanese.
Yes-ish. This series takes place in Hawaii.
Right.
So they sometimes speak English.
But
it is primarily Japanese.
Get ready for subtitles is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Netflix's Master of None, the Aziz Ansari series, season 2 premieres on Netflix May 12th. A lot of scenes of him in Italy in the trailer.
Yeah, that was such a curious end. Spoiler alert, although it feels weird saying spoiler alert about Master of None. The fact that it very clearly sets up with him like, do I choose the girl or the life I thought I wanted? And then the answer is, the life I thought I wanted. Bye.
Or did he? I don't know. Yeah, that looks like.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see where this goes.
We got a real short teaser for The Defenders, which is coming to Netflix August 18th with Danny Rand, Daredevil in his like pajama outfit from the early part of the series, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones all in an elevator from elevator cam, and then Jessica punches the elevator cam.
Yeah, why is he got a scarf tied around his
I don't
head?
know. And Danny's in a suit instead of his like hippie Magic Mountain outfit. And Luke's the only one. Luke and Jessica look pretty much normal.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I'm granting a pass. I didn't finish Luke Cage. That's on me. But it was because I heard that the ending of the season was weak. I heard too much bad stuff. I only gave half an episode to Iron Fist. And again, that's on me. If I was a better person, I'd watch the whole thing. But none of that is to say that The Defenders can't suddenly just be the awesomest thing I've ever seen, ever. So I am still 100% enthusiastic and open-minded about it being awesome.
Another one I think you should probably be open-minded about is Thor Ragnarok, coming November 3rd to theaters. It's a little indie film. Right now Bryce has the preview of it playing and I just want to watch the whole trailer again for the 12th time. So and finally, to distract Brian from that, Amazon has ordered 2 seasons of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, written and directed by Amy Sherman Palladino of Gilmore Girls fame. This is the one that tells the story of a 1958 New York woman who discovers a talent for stand-up comedy. During Amazon's pilot season, it was the top rated one, 4.8 out of 5 in the pilot voting, and is the first time Amazon's ever done a multi-season order. Netflix does that fairly regularly, but Amazon hasn't before.
Yeah, I would suppose that that's more of a side effect of a proven track record of success. Just Netflix started earlier than Amazon. I would bet if you counted originals start time on Netflix versus Amazon Prime, my guess is the lag would line up pretty much 1 for 1 for how long it was before they started doing multi-season orders.
Yeah, it's possible. Although I remember House of Cards getting like not a multi-season order, but like they renewed season 2 and then renewed season 3 before season 2 had started or something like that. So
yeah.
I remember them saying that they ordered 2 seasons for
at
House
once.
of Cards at once.
Yeah, that's the way I remember
because I know
it too.
the creators were saying, well, it was nice to be able to write a season that we knew would get continued.
Yeah, right. And I guess that was only a year or two after. So I take it back. I guess they are lagging, but it's good that Amazon's jumping in for sure.
All right, let's talk about what we're watching. Starting with you, Brian. What's been on your screens?
Oh my gosh, I've been watching so much televisions. We'll talk about in spoiler in time. We'll talk about all of Legion. I finished Legion. I think I was only up to episode 4 last week, and then I watched all the way through episode 8. Finished that today. Also, after some nudging from Brant Hughes, I finally watched all of Atlanta, which you have not watched any of, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, let me give you a short take. What I love about Atlanta is it's a very creative, unexplored space that does some wonderfully quirky things, and you would expect no less from the likes of Donald Glover. I like the fact that thematically they're all so different. They're all tied in. It's not a straight up narrative. It's not a success story. It's not this. You watch the first 1 or 2 episodes and you think, oh, this is the story of a rapper who becomes successful and Donald Glover, his cousin, becoming a successful manager and learning lessons along the way. And that's not the case. Instead, you get these disparate vignettes of strange stuff. For example, one episode is entirely just the rapper Paperboy appearing on kind of an Inside the Actors Studio type show on BAN, the Black American Network is what it is.
Okay.
And they put in there
BET wasn't cooperating.
Correct. But they put in there a bunch of fake ads for various products.
Oh, that's funny.
And so it's just a straight up half hour of as if you're in that universe watching that channel from beginning to end. And in fact, Donald Glover never even appears in the whole episode. It's so much fun. There was a a gut-busting laugh-out-loud moment. I want to say in episode 6 or 7, when there's a scuffle at a nightclub, and then this one car barrels through a bunch of people, and I haven't laughed that hard alone in a very long time. It's really great.
There's something about the car. It's not just Brian watching a car.
I've tried to play coy.
Okay.
But that moment was pretty great, right?
It was good. It was really good.
Also, what's the we covered it a while ago. I forgot the name of it. The Discovery, I think.
The Netflix Robert Redford movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
is that good? Oh.
It was worth watching.
Okay.
Like what's funny is I started it, and
It's TV worth watching.
Yeah. Well, here's the weird
When it's a
part:
movie.
is I started it thinking it was the first episode in a series, and as a result, I didn't mind the pacing at all. But then when I realized it's a movie, I don't know, halfway through, I was like, oh, this is the whole story,
it.
and I'm like, ooh, they're kind of taking their time on this pacing, aren't they? But having said that, it was good for what it was. It was a fine sojourn to an interesting place.
And it's a sci-fi film, right?
Yeah. I finished up OJ Made in America, and I think I'll save that for spoiler in time. We'll talk through a bit of that. Did you ever watch that?
Well, wait, I didn't watch OJ Made in America, so I don't know what happens.
Okay. You want to talk about it now or save it for spoiler in time?
No, we can do it in spoiler time.
Okay, all right. But then, and I just started. Yes, I watched The Expanse. I also started 13 Reasons Why.
I finished that. It's good.
It is good.
It's good.
okay.
It's not hokey at all. It gets real serious and it gets real dark.
Okay, because I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the structure. The framework is really interesting.
Yeah. How many episodes are you in?
I'm on the second episode.
So in about the halfway point, you start to get really frustrated that it is kind of taking a little while.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good.
Well,
it
and
gets good.
Full disclosure, right now, 13 Reasons Why is my while I'm playing Hearthstone thing. So it's like, I'm like, yeah, kids, you're in love. I get it. It's adorable.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, that's what I've been watching.
All right, cool. I watched the premiere of Archer.
Oh, this is the new season, right?
You sound not thrilled. That's not.
Have you ever gone back to a place you used to live and met up with your old friends and you're like, I still love you guys, but you just didn't have as much fun as you used to have back when you were living there and hanging out with them all the time?
It's like when you visit your favorite uncle and you realize you already know all of his jokes and stories because you've heard them a lot.
I mean, I can't pin down a single reason why I didn't like this. I should love it. The premise is Archer's like passed out and imagining a 1930s era Art Deco-y, private eye. Oh, I guess 50s, more 50s era. But that film noir private eye, Raymond Carver or Dashiell Hammett style stuff, which is great. And it's got all those characters I love from Archer in it, and they're all being themselves, but in this world, and that's great. And Pam is like the heavy, who there's always the heavy that's involved. It's great. That's all I have to say.
That's a bummer.
Especially because I thought last year they also changed out the premise again.
They did
Raymond
Archer
Chandler,
Vice, and then
Carver.
they did. I haven't seen anything past Archer
They
Vice.
did Archer basically in Hollywood.
Okay.
And so it was kind of old
that was
Hollywood.
all right.
And that was okay. And I thought, okay, so hopefully if they keep doing this thing. But,
I'll tell you what,
boy.
and this really is an interesting artifact of the way we view stuff. I'm going to suspect that you will like it watching it week to week. I bet I will love it when I binge it straight through.
Yeah. No, I could totally see that. And maybe maybe what I do. I may just like back off of it and binge it later.
And I'll tell you, the television show that really drove that home the hardest was when we were talking to some friends who had seen Westworld. Everybody I know who watched Westworld, binging it through, loved it. Everybody I know who watched it week over week was just like, oh my God, the pacing, right? But it'd take forever.
I also watched The Founder, the story of Ray Kroc, with Michael Keaton as Ray Kroc.
Oh, that looked good. Was it
really
good?
Really good. Very curious to dig in and find out how they got the ability to show a bunch of the McDonald's logoing and things that they did. But I knew this story I still really enjoyed watching it, and it made it hit home just how long the McDonald brothers were part of this as Kroc was building it up and turning it into an empire without them. And it's just well executed and interestingly told. And of course, if you are, especially if you're, from the US and grew up with McDonald's, you just see the seeds of all of these things, being planted. And it's fascinating to watch.
Yeah, dude.
Sesame seeds, if you will.
Seeds, good.
Also, Kong Skull Island.
I hear good things.
Dear Billy, I enjoyed the hell out of it. This is a movie that a lot of people are not going to like because it's not about plot. I mean, the plot's okay. It's got the normal amount of holes for a movie like this, but it's about giant monsters and it's about crazy characters. And if all you're coming for is like just want to be entertained by giant monsters and crazy characters, you're going to absolutely adore it. And it does the best job of all the Kong movies I've seen of not spending too much time being an homage to what has come before, but still pretty cool tips of the hat.
Awesome. Very awesome.
All right. What are we on the lookout for, Mr. Bryce?
Hey, I found out just this past week that Preacher is now on Hulu, and so I'm giving Preacher a real solid shake. And I'm about 2.5 episodes in, and I really dig it. And I have no idea what's going on.
That's great. That's wonderful.
So the pitch for anybody is small town Texas preacher who's seems like he's got a dark past, has a bunch of runnings in with supernatural people and supernatural powers. Question mark? Like, is that an accurate?
Yeah.
Pitch?
Well.
Yeah.
He gets hit by something, right? Basically,
sure.
Like
he
it opens.
encounters a thing.
Yeah. Basically,
He's exposed to something.
a supernatural lightning bolt strikes him out of the blue, and
Right.
that complicates his life. And he's already a complicated individual because
He's already got kind of a dark past, and he's
It's
got
kind of a
promises.
combination of Brian Brushwood and Justin Robert Young.
yeah, a little bit,
Well,
little
gosh,
bit.
yeah, a little bit. I'm intrigued. This is a mystery. This is like a supernatural mystery that I'm like really looking forward to sinking my teeth into. If only because y'all did spoiling times on Preacher, by the way. So if you get into this, be sure to check those out. And like the little bit that I remember from spoiling time makes me excited that there will be more of these things. It's cool. It's very cool. Like you guys have both seen it. You guys have seen all of season
All
one,
of it,
right?
all of it.
Like
It was
your favorite
It was
last
no
year.
stop. No holds barred. No reservations. My favorite television show of last year, and I put it above last season of Game of Thrones.
Oh, wow.
And just because it was more innovative, it was more out of the box. It was surprising and refreshing. Stylistically, it was a new flavor. It is a lot of blood and guts, and Bonnie was not a fan of that, but I loved everything about it.
And in terms of like storytelling, Legion is I would say it reminds me a lot of Legion, but chronologically it should be flipped, obviously. I'm seeing a lot of the like very concrete vignettes that are just totally different places and times and people, and it's a lot of foreign entities that are all sort of converging in at this one point. So I'm excited to see where it goes. So if you want kind of a supernatural action sort of film or TV show, Preacher is on Hulu now.
How did Preacher rank with you for 2016?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember. Remember we did that rankings. It was there in my top 20. I don't remember exactly where it ended up. I was going to say Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, who were responsible for Preacher, on the hook to adapt Robert Kirkman's Invincible comic series.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So
That's
if you
very
like
cool.
Preacher and you like the Invincible comic series and you like Robert Kirkman, that's good news.
Yep.
Hey, if you got something we should be on the lookout for, email us cordkillers@gmail.com. All right, real quickly, just want to remind folks that there is an amazing science fiction novel out there about time travel, but it might be sold out. So you should check out Pilot X, which will be available on the shelf and at audible.com, because it's almost as good as that one. And it's about a pilot who just wants to fly his damn ship around, but he keeps getting pulled into intrigue and political machinations and ends up having to figure out how to save the universe. That sounds like fun to you. Everyone says it's got a very classic feel, and it's a quick moving read. So check it out. Pilot X, Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, your bookstore, Audible.com. You can check it out at TomMareBooks.com as well.
Not going to lie, Tom. I bought it immediately once I found out it was available on Audible. I keep saving it like a Christmas present. I don't know why. It's so
Like a little
tasty, and I'm
baby
so
bird.
excited, and I hear such good things about the Audible presentation. I can't wait.
All right, check it out, folks. Let's move on to the front lines.
Front lines.
Bloomberg says its sources say Comcast plans to launch a streaming service for NBC Universal TV shows within the next 12 to 18 months. Details like whether live channels would be offered and for how much have yet to be decided. But the service would apparently focus on NBC and could also include shows from other NBC Universal networks like Bravo, USA, or Sci-Fi.
So tell me how we get to the. I guess it's obvious. The way we get there is money, but it's like for NBC being a founding partner in Hulu, and originally that being the vision of like, let's create, a television friendly version of YouTube so that people aren't ripping off our content and posting it on YouTube. Also, we don't really want it to succeed, and we're surprised when it does. I guess now NBC is like, well, I mean, CBS is making free money. Why don't we make free money too?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about monetization. You're right. And I can see a very reasonable calculus where you say, hey, we're making money off of our shows on Hulu because we're part owners in Hulu. We could also be making more of a share of the money in our own service that we sell directly. And you know what? If they leave Hulu for us, or if they leave us, if they don't come to us but stay with Hulu, we win either way.
Yeah, that's a real bummer because it's just.
Why is that a bummer? More things in more places. We get more choices. They get more chances to make money. Everybody wins.
Yes. Yes, and it will lead to more market confusion, more competing stuff. Like what I personally, I can't speak for you, but what I as a cord cutter am hoping for is this moment where the gravitational well gets so deep in one spot, everything collapses in, and we get an ecosystem similar to what happened. We saw it with iTunes, with music, and we're seeing it again with streaming music on Spotify or whatever. I just want this one Jupiter that just sucks everything in, and the
Maybe
more
it's
of
Twitter.
This, maybe
what happens is you can go to Twitter and say, oh yeah, I want NBC, CBS, this, and this. And then Twitter says, great. We'll charge them. We'll charge you. We'll send your money out to them. You'll authenticate with your Twitter account. All the shows will be here.
Yeah.
And maybe they need to do these kinds of things to make that world happen.
Could be.
I don't know.
Meanwhile,
I'm just making stuff up.
ComScore's latest numbers show 53% of Wi-Fi households in the U.S. use a streaming video service. Netflix is still the leader in 75% of households, but YouTube is catching up at 53%. Amazon's at 33%, and Hulu is at 17%. That is astonishing to me. I mean, it used to be Netflix and Hulu were like neck and neck, and that's not the case anymore at all. On average, people watch streaming content 19 days a month for 2.2 hours per day. Sling leads that measurement with its users watching 47 hours a month. Netflix came in second at 28 hours. I got to tell you, man, there's a listserv of a bunch of gamer friends. We would get together for LAN parties going back 15 years. And so I'm still on the list, and it was so interesting to watch out of nowhere a cord-cutting discussion erupt among them where somebody was just fed up with Comcast, said, that's it, I'm done, I'm out. You're too greedy. They won't give me the promo price, and they're charging me for this. And, hey, guys, where can I go? And, of course, I, pointed them to the show. But, it's amazing to see how much is changing so quickly in this.
Yeah, I look at this and I feel like, oh, you know what? Hulu had that bigger percentage when the number of percentage households using streaming video services was low. What this tells me is Hulu just hasn't grown much, whereas Netflix, Amazon, and YouTube are all services that you use even if you still have cable.
Right.
And Hulu is not. Hulu really wants to be with its originals and all of that, but it just isn't perceived that way. And the other thing this shows is Netflix still has room to grow. And conventional wisdom has been, Netflix is saturated, it can't grow anymore. Well, only 53% of Wi-Fi households even use a streaming video service. So they've got more of those they could try to capture. And then of those that use them, 25% don't use Netflix. That blew me away. Like, I would expect that to be almost 90.
Yeah. And also, right now we're looking at a chart that shows Netflix free audiences of select over-the-top service providers, YouTube and Twitch, tied.
If those are of the people who don't watch Netflix, YouTube and Twitch are tied for their most popular.
Wrap your mind around this. Think about how many people, like, you can walk to anyone on the street and say the words YouTube and they all know what you're talking about. What percentage of people on the street, when you say the word Twitch, do you think know what you're talking about?
I wouldn't. If especially if you eliminate people under 35, I'd say almost none.
Right. It's astonishing. Like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. A couple other things here. Showtime now lets subscribers download any of its programs. I'm assuming it's not the movies, just their shows, their original shows, for offline viewing on iOS, Android, and Amazon Fire tablets. And you can choose when you download, do you want a standard def, 540p, or high def 720p version?
That's good. Small moves. It all adds up. Sling TV added the ability to subscribe to Showtime for $10 a month. It already offered HBO, Cinemax, and Stars. So it's the first to offer all 4 big movie channels. Sling also added the $5 Heartland Extra package with Pixel movies, Family Net Classic TV, Sportsman Channel, Outdoor Channel, RFD TV, a rural lifestyle channel that focuses on agriculture, equine, and more. God, all I want to do is look at that channel now. The World Fishing Network. Sling also added Estrella TV, VME Kids, and El Financiero to the best of Spanish TV package. Dude, that's great. It's great to see them growing. Have we altered our position right now as far as the best package for somebody replacing cable is still PlayStation Vue?
For the moment, I think it is, especially because there's that blue-orange confusion with Sling TV.
Well, to me, it's the brick, or I don't know, the hobbled DVR possibilities on Sling and having to watch.
Well, Sling has its DVR now, so
correct,
but kind of early to know how well it's really going to work.
But I still have to tune in live for Better Call Saul, though, right?
No, I think you can DVR Better Call Saul.
Really? Because that was my beef with AMC, is that AMC wasn't playing ball with the DVR.
Oh, when Sling launched the DVR, AMC was out?
It's always been out. I've signed up for Sling.
They haven't always had the DVR. They just launched the DVR like 2 months ago.
Okay, well then, you know what? I guess it's time to sign up for Sling again.
Yeah, well, we'll have to check. MGM bought out Lionsgate and Paramount shares of movie service Epix for just more than $1 billion. All 3 studios will continue to supply movies to Epix, but Lionsgate just purchased Stars, so it doesn't need Epix as an owner. And Paramount's owner, Viacom, has actually been moving away from streaming services, so that's not much of a surprise there either.
Right on. Meanwhile, Netflix has added a screensaver to its TV apps that promote Netflix originals, and Netflix rolled out its thumbs up, thumbs down system and a percentage match ratings to replace the star ratings. We got some feedback from the emails on that issue.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just move right on into dispatches from the front. Rapid Eye was listening to our show when we were discussing that new rating system, going from 1 to 5 stars to thumbs up. And he said, like you, Tom, when I was having to manage my disc queue on their website, I was diligent about rating all the stuff. Since we stopped getting discs a few years, I've not been to the Netflix website once. But after further reflection, I submit that Netflix doesn't need us to interact with their website or app one little iota to figure out if we like a show or not. They know exactly what we watch, how long we watch it, the exact spot where we stop watching and or rewind it, and if we continue a series after 1 or 2 episodes, or if I binge watch all 5 seasons of a show in a weekend. In my opinion, that gives them 1,000 times more data about my feelings on a show than does 1 to 5 stars, along with very specific details that they can pass back to producers. And then Rick added, just today, Netflix switched to the thumbs up, thumbs down from the old 5-star system, and I really hate this for 2 reasons. Mainly, the old system turned the star yellow, which reminded me years later if I had seen that title. And secondly, it is far too general a rating versus a 5-star system. I hope they don't do it to Blu-ray titles, but I'm not confident they won't soon.
I'll tell you
Well,
what,
I mean,
man.
the thumbs up, thumbs down could still work as a I've seen it thing because you'll have a rating there. But I get being upset about that. What do you think of Rapid Eye's assertion of like, hey, do they really even need that? Like they know what we watch and whether we stuck with it.
Well, here's what I worry about that for, because he's 100% right. Like, they can track engagement level. They can track whether or not something is something that will cause somebody to watch to completion. But I think there's a qualitative difference between watching something because it's great versus hate watching it. And there's no way under his system to know which is which. And I want to incentivize people to make high quality entertainment that I like, not stuff that is engaging, because we already know how to make a video game that will engage you, set up addictive elements that require you to log in and share things and, pay for fertilizer to grow your pigs or whatever, but that makes them engaging games. It does not make them good games. And I want to see good video entertainment, not engaging video entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Iron Fist all the way through. I would give it a thumbs down, having watched it all the way through. And
right, but
so
meanwhile, by the numbers, by the metrics, Netflix should say like, well, clearly you loved that one.
And maybe it knows me better than I know myself because I did stick with it all the way through. But I fell asleep through large parts of it and didn't care. On the other part of it is I can also give thumbs up and thumbs down to shows that I have not watched on Netflix, but I've watched elsewhere.
Right. On the other hand, Eric writes in saying, just to add on the Voodoo disc to digital conversion conversation, in January, my wife and I used the service to convert about 60 standard definition DVDs into high-def digital copies. Watching standard def DVDs was almost painful, and this has given us access to a bunch of our older movie collections in a format that is enjoyable to watch and easy to access for $2.50 per movie. We took advantage of that 50% off 10-plus movies discount mentioned in episode 164. Then we used declutter.com, that's DECLUTTR.com, to sell our physical copies and get some of the money back. While the payout per movie is low, between 25 cents and $1 on average, it's more than we were getting by having them buried in the back of a closet. Love the show, Eric. That's totally fair. Just one of the things to remember is they're acting as though you're converting a thing. You're just not. You're just buying the movies all over
copying
again.
At a discount. Yeah.
You're buying a movie again, and you're getting a deep discount because you had already bought it once before. And if you are okay with that, then by all means take advantage of it and get all the benefits there is. But I think that's a little bit of advertising jujitsu that they pulled by calling it a conversion, because in no universe is anything being converted here.
Yeah, and don't forget too that that may be still a perfectly legitimate calculus for you. You may be able to say, you know what? Yes, I know I could rip these DVDs with Handbrake and not pay anything, but I just don't have the time. And so spending a couple bucks per movie is worth it for me. Meanwhile, the alt cord cutter wrote, until last year, I was a not so proud employee of one of those cable monoliths you skewer so well. When I was involuntarily retired, aka laid off after 36 years, I decided to stick it to the man by cord cutting. I signed up for Netflix and Amazon. I bought and installed a rooftop antenna, Tableau DVR, Roku streamer, new AV system, Plex server, and a Logitech Harmony remote to control it all. That's a pretty good system. It says I hardwired my network to maximize throughput, tested and tweaked until everything was working great. On the day my severance ended, I called the monolith to cut back to internet only or to disconnect entirely. Take your box back, you stinking monolith. They informed me that since they showed me as a retired former employee, I can continue a robust cable and internet package at the same discount rate of about $40 a month I had while I was employed. I said thank you and hung up as quick as I could. I guess I'm just a cord-cutting fanboy now. I'm so ashamed.
Hey, man, look, for the record, we don't say we're the show that insists that cable sucks and you have to quit it. We say we're the show about watching what you want, when you want, on whatever device you want. And if I could get a full suite package for $20 or $40, you better believe I'd be in on that.
Yeah, you could still use that Tableau DVR to get a bunch of stuff that isn't on cable, the alternative over-the-air signals. You can use that Roku streamer to watch Amazon and Netflix, which are not part of your cable. You can log in. You can authenticate with that subscription you kept. You have not. No need to be ashamed. Do not be ashamed.
Agreed. Mar writes us saying, we've been following the skinny and not so skinny bundles for a while and might get Sling Blue pretty soon, but I found it strange that in some cases, the big three news channels aren't included in the packages. For instance, Sling Blue has only CNN in his basic package, and you have to get News Extra to get MSNBC. Fox News isn't included either for some reason, despite a bunch of other Fox channels being included. The Blaze is featured in News Extra. Why is this the case? I've not noted such glaring exclusions when it comes to other kinds of cable channels when other channels the parent company owns are included. So you think this is a political conspiracy, Tom?
Yes, absolutely. It's probably the Russians. No, I'm pretty sure that this is just that wild variation of negotiations where there is no standard to the negotiation. Every negotiation is different. And so the blue and the orange thing is basically the blue package has all the Fox channels and the orange package doesn't have the Fox channels. That's essentially the difference there. Why Fox News is not included, even though FX and FXX aren't? Probably because Fox News sometimes asks for better placement over CNN and other news channels, and maybe Sling wasn't in a position to grant them that, so Fox said, well, we're holding Fox News back. But all of these things are 99% apolitical. They are 100% negotiating tactics to try to, in this new world, establish a negotiating standard that is to your benefit as much as possible. And when I say your, I mean the person negotiating. So in this case, Fox or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Finally, Roy said, "Hi-yo, it's your boss, Roy here. Hi, boss. I've just signed up for my free month of YouTube TV, and right off the bat, I see problems. Problem number one is that the app needs to be installed on a phone or a tablet, not my Roku stick. These handhelds are my second and third screens. I realize the Chromecast has been a success, so clearly people are okay using their handhelds as TV remotes, but committing one to be my TV remote isn't going to fly in my house." All right, fair enough. That's your situation. You have the right to say no, that didn't work for you. Problem number two is that my Nexus 7 from 2013 is too old to install the app. Now my phone clearly needs to be my remote, and that's a double problem. Problem number three is that they don't have entire back catalogs. I'm specifically looking at CBS. I haven't seen any of the current season of Big Bang Theory because I've postponed buying the season. YouTube TV has only some episodes from the current season. No bueno. There are pros, too, like the TV in my pocket. It's really fast and easy to jump into live content. The DVR looks pretty intuitive, though I haven't yet watched any recorded content to comment. It is. You just swipe to fast forward. It's pretty amazing. Hopefully, in a future update, they'll bring my content from Google Play Movies and TV into the app. I like that idea. Sort of like how I can access it on the standard YouTube app. Keep up the good work, guys. You are all rad. Thank you, boss.
Man.
Those are fair concerns.
No, I'm going to say two of them are, or no, one of them is fair. The other two is, one is his fault. It's his fault that his phone is old. And also, don't worry about. I'm sorry, Roy. But also, limited rollout, I think, is the smartest way for them to do it. Yes, eventually you'll be able to install it on your Roku and so on. And yes, streaming, casting it isn't the best solution in the world, but I would rather see limited rollouts of these kind of services where it works, like it's not even rolled out to my city yet. And I'm okay with that because I know that when it does, it's all going to work. Your third point is, I think, 100% legitimate. If you're going to offer this stuff, you want to be as complete as possible.
That's funny. I saw his third point as being the least defensible, which is like the on-demand features aren't really what you subscribe for. You subscribe for the unlimited DVR. So as long as from the point you start watching, you can actually record everything, that's what I care about. On-demand is always kind of scattershot when you look at on-demand stuff on PlayStation Vue and Sling TV, for instance.
Yeah, I could see that.
But, hey, you know what? If it doesn't work for Roy, then it doesn't work for Roy. And it's not good enough, YouTube. Try again if you want Roy's business. All right. That is it for this episode of Cordkillers. Our website is cordkillers.com. Our email address is cordkillers@gmail.com, and we're live on diamondclub.tv Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Say goodbye, Brian.
Goodbye, Brian. Hey, guys. Tom and Brian here. We just wanted to say thank you to all of our $5 patrons who keep us loud, live, and independent. You guys make Cordkillers the production that it is.
Your name appears in the video credits and appears in our hearts. And if you'd like to become one of them or see who they are, you can go to patreon.com/Cordkillers.
You'll need to do more than just go there, though. You'll have to sign up and, pledge an amount. But
unless you just want to see who they are.
Well, I mean, you could gawk. That's a little creepy, isn't it?
If you want to be a gawker,
Let's go.
it's up to you.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.